My name is Patrick Raycroft. I'm with a consulting firm, W. Capra. We are based out of Chicago, and we specialize in the convenience and fuel space. Welcomed here by Shelly Coleman and Brenda Ellsworth. Honored to be with them on the stage and talk about loyalty today. So Shelly first. Shelly is with Stinker Stores. Shelly is a UK transplant who came to the States through Boise State University, lives in Boise. She's been with Stinker Stores for almost 4 years, but has over 20 years of experience in the industry, alternatively outside of the convenience in the grocery space. She is an avid whitewater rafting enthusiast, and the picture that she sent me, which we didn't get up on here, was a picture of her whitewater rafting. So I did advise that should be Shelly's LinkedIn photo going forward because it was pretty spectacular. And then Brenda Ellsworth. Brenda is joining us today from Pete's. She is based out of southeast Kansas, and we were just talking about her various flight options in and out of here from San Diego. She is the COO for Pete's Convenience Stores, which operates in Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. So without further ado, I will pass it over to Shelly to kick us off. Then we'll go to Brenda, end a little bit on a note on data on my side, and then we'll open it up to some panel questions and to the group.
So at Stinker last year, May 26th, we rolled out our first loyalty app program, and we asked the question before we jumped into is what makes a good loyalty program, and I put that in quotes because we always say good is not good enough, we want great, but really it was what is it that we are looking for and how do we identify what those points are. And so the things that we looked at were ease for customer, engagement or engaging for customer, ease for retailer, the customer facing, so like your store associates, ease for retailer, the support team, AKA myself, and then does it grow customer count, whether that's foot traffic, sales, combination of the two. And so those were the 5 metrics that we really looked at. This is just a slide that one of our partners shared with me, and it basically shows that infinite cycle of engaging your customers, bringing them in, getting them into your stores, rewarding them, then creates foot traffic, creates loyalty, and it just becomes an infinite cycle. I really liked the way that looked. So ease for customer. The app that we went with is easy to understand. These are just some slides or some print screens from our actual app. The first one being the actual front page of it, and you literally can click on any of those pictures and then it'll take you a little bit further deeper into the app. So it's very easy to use. It's easy to join. Literally, it's on the App Store, just like everybody's is. It's very easy to redeem, and that was something that we wanted our customers to be able to use. And on the next slide, I'll show you how they do that. Again, easy to navigate from that home page. You just click on whether it's games, whether it's your punch cards. As you can see, they all show right there in front of you. Active rewards are all together. So when you scan in at the store, if you have a punch card that's full, it'll automatically redeem it. If you have a coupon that's embedded in there that you've won either through a game or because one of our CPG customers went ahead and put a program in place, it'll automatically redeem it. So the customer they don't have to scroll through and find everything. It's all linked to that barcode that you'll see on the next slide. And then again, the stamp cards are together and all the CPG offers are together. So it's very, very easy for the consumer to use, and it's easy for them to understand where they're at in the progression of their stamp cards and what offers they have that are sitting out there that they've either earned or won. So that leads to the engaging for the customer, because obviously a stamp card is great. That gets them in, that creates that loyalty piece, but we also wanted to engage our customers and we wanted to make it fun. And this was kind of that point of difference that we were looking for that took us or separated us apart from a lot of our competitive retailers. The rewards are earned, like I said, through gamification. So if you see that little third or second box down where it says game on, click here, customers can click on that and all of the games are supported by CPG offers that they can either win a really great prize or they can win a consolation prize. And we control, oops, I probably shouldn't have done that. We control the percentage that they can win. And so we can pick that 5% of the winners will win the great prize, 95% will get the consolation prize, maybe 15% get the great prize, 30% get the consolation prize, the rest get a thanks for trying, we'll see you tomorrow. But all of that is based on what your CPG customer has in their budget and how much they want to push their product. And so we've done some really great launches through this. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kate's Bar. It's a bar that's actually made in Idaho, and they're quite delicious. And we launched it through our app, and they were very gracious and sponsored just a bunch of winners that received a free Kate's Bar. So it really engaged the customers, got them into our stores, got them to try a new product. So for innovation and launches, it's pretty amazing. And again, because you can control that percentage of win versus not, you don't have that runaway issue with running a promotion at the store for 30 days or 60 days where the CPG company is shaking in their boots because they don't know what their redemption is going to be. And so this is just a little example of what that game looks like, one of the games. And so obviously this would be a customer walking through this, pushing on the buttons. And so this is one where they pop a balloon on each one in hopes to win. Just to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like. And so they didn't win because they didn't get that third free fountain, but they did get a consolation prize, which was 40 cents off of a body armor fully funded by that CPG company. Ease for retailer, obviously this was the other piece that we were looking for. We didn't want to burden our store associates with what I call it, a big hoop fest. And so literally the customer hits the button on their phone, it brings up this barcode, they scan it into the POS system, and this is what links to all of those rewards that I spoke to, whether that's a full card, a stamp card, and then they'll redeem it. If they end up then purchasing one of the offers that are in a stamp card, whether it's an energy drink or a fountain or a donut or whatever we've got rolling for stamp cards on any given day, it'll automatically give them their punches. And so it's very, very easy for the store clerks. Ease for retailer support team. So this is me. This is a bit of a busy screen or a busy slide, so I apologize for that. But what I really wanted to speak to was that I have full access to go in and build my promotions on any given day. So I can build, I can start, I can stop, I can look to see where things are at as far as what the spend has been, what the awards versus redemption is, and I can really stay in communication with the CPG companies that are funding these to let them know, hey, we're getting close to a pivotal point where we might want to either adjust what the win rate is, or we're getting close to your budgeted amount, whether that's number of redemptions, a dollar amount, a timeline, and really keep tabs on it. And so that's been really beneficial. Because of it being in the app, you can start and stop immediately, but it allows us to really keep that control in-house and, like I said, keep tabs. And then obviously we're self-funding some of the programs, like the coffee program. We have a sign-up program. And so all of that's coming out of a self-funding budget, and just being able to really have control of what that budget looks like has been very helpful. And there's just a few more, and I'm kind of listing out some of our partners there just so that you can kind of get an idea. Those are people that we chose to go with were the best solution for us, but obviously identifying what matters for you and vetting out who is going to offer the best ease. And then growing customer count. So these are our actual statistics. You can see when we launched, obviously we had a huge push for it, and then it dipped down a little bit as it would after that initial huge push, but you can see that all of our numbers are growing traction, and everything, it drops off at the end, but that's because it's midweek. But as you can see, everything is just, the customers are really becoming engaged. We're getting more customers signing onto our app each and every day, and it's really resonating with our customer demographic for all of the metrics that we're looking at: engagement, foot traffic, usage, rewards. And so it's really been quite a win for us. And then this is just a slide that Jeffrey with Rovertown shared with me, and it just kind of shows some of the blue circles are where we're at today, and then those opportunities that we're looking to grow our program and look to be able to deliver additional offers to our customers. Hand it over?
And over to Brenda.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you. Good morning, everyone.
I need the mic.
Oh, you need the mic.
Mic.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. I said good morning, everyone. Okay, so before I get to our slides and talk a little bit about the success that we've had with our loyalty program, I wanted to first share with you some of the things that we've learned over the past almost 10 years since we rolled our program out. And the first one is, everybody needs to understand, if you're going to have a loyalty program, it is going to require investment of time and resources. If you're not passionate about your program, your employees will not be passionate, therefore your customers will not be passionate about it. And we've learned that it has to become part of who you are. It has to be part of your culture. Whenever somebody talks about Pete's, it's Pete's Kickback. I mean, we are fully steeped in our loyalty program at every facet, and it's going to be really important. And if you haven't launched a program, whenever you get ready to do that, it's going to be really important for you to remember that piece, be prepared. It's going to take investment of time and resources. When we first rolled out our meeting, I wanted to share with you, I thought it might help you. We determined that we were going to use a kickback reward system because they give points, and those points spend like cash, and they never expire. So our customers essentially have a prepaid debit card. It's not a debit card, obviously, but they have money as if they did have a prepaid debit card. So we called a meeting of all of our leadership and our managers. We had them come in. We explained to them what we were going to be doing. We basically laid out the path and then kind of the path stones along that path. So here's where we're going, and here's how we're going to get there. And some of those stones were every employee will have a kickback card, and they're going to be rewarded on that kickback card. They'll be rewarded for member activations. They'll be rewarded for particular things that they did that was over and above. So we engaged our employee. Next, we had pamphlets, and we had scripts on the register monitors, so our employees were comfortable. You know, a lot of times employees really are kind of nervous about speaking to customers, so we had specific things that they could choose to say, and then questions and answers of frequently asked questions, and we had that all right there on the register. We also took spin wheels to the stores, so our leadership team would go out and spend mornings in one store and afternoons in another store. They would get the manager and employees engaged so that they could thereby engage our customer. They'd come over and they'd spin the wheel, and we might give a free soda fountain or bag of chips, candy bar, you know, corn dog, whatever, but we also gave kickback points. And while the customer was there spinning, we were visiting with that customer, and we were saying, do you have a kickback card? If they said yes, we would then say, is it redeemed or registered so that you can redeem? If they said no, right there on the spot, we registered them. So we engaged our customer that way and really started speaking to our customer, not just at the employee level, but also with leadership and prizes and just getting them, this is going to be part of who we are. So The next thing that we did was whenever we first rolled it out, we had what we called Double Tuesdays. So this was engaging the customer. If you come in on a Tuesday, whatever points we're giving, you're going to get double that. So that's kind of how we went to market with it in the beginning. We continue to have blitzes, although we don't have as many as we probably should. We continue to do that, and I'm going to speak to some of the successes that we've seen. So we have 52,639 active customers. Over the past nearly 10 years, we've had a consistent scan rate of 43%. Our customer frequency of visit has increased by 17%. In-store spend has increased by 61%, while our member average gallons purchased per month has increased by 21%. Our loyalty vendor has told us that we are in the top decile with regards to scan rates. Again, I want to stress that we feel like part of the success is because our points spend like cash. There is nothing for our customers to go in and do. They can just come in and redeem. So we have a very robust loyalty offering. We have tiered programs. Recently, we rolled out, so our app is powered by Rovertown, and recently we rolled out Scan and Go. So our customer can come in, use their phone, scan our product, and pay without ever going to the register. We also rolled out Order Ahead, so you can order anything in the retail, we'll pick it for you and have it ready for you, or you can order food. But our loyalty provider and our app provider work together so that even though we have technology going, we have brought along our loyalty program, which is really important. We haven't left it behind. It's integrated and it's part of it. So I'm very pleased with that. We also have access to Altria and RJR scan data and LFP promotions. Those have been a great source for us, and I was thrilled that our loyalty provider helped us with that scan data, and they've done an amazing job. So every fall, we meet with our vendors, and we lay out the next year's promotions. Our promotions run by quarter. Once we determine, okay, this is what we're going to do, we first roll it out to our leadership team so they can have their teams meeting with the stores, and we say, this is what we're going to be doing next year. So we lay that out. As the quarter approaches, we gather the applicable UPC numbers, we send it to our KRS team, and they load our promotions into our program. Simultaneously, we're delivering signs to our stores so that we will be ready to go on day one for execution. Once the KRS team says back to us, hey, your program's ready to go, the manager takes and tests the program at each of their stores, makes sure it's working properly, and then we roll out on day one. This is not only value brought to our vendor, because we are executing at a very high level from day one throughout the whole promotion, but also to our customers because they've grown to expect, it's the first of the quarter, what is Pete's doing? Then at the end, through the KRS reporting, we can pull and do reconciliations and give that to our vendors. So we've also brought our loyalty program into rewarding our managers and our leadership and our store-level employees through 3 points of our loyalty program. So the first one is kickback customer transactions as a percentage of overall store transactions. The next one is customers redemption as a percentage of total points given for the month. And then the last one is we track every activation of every promotion for that month. If the store level, or if the store is at or above company average, they receive a bonus for each one of those points. So what we're doing is we're engaging our employees ongoing every single month, and we're giving them back reports as to how their store performed so that our loyalty program, again, is ingrained in our culture. All promotions are associated with our rewards program and our mobile app, and there are no everyday offerings in this store. So if you come into Pete's and you are a loyalty customer, you're going to have added value. If you are not a loyalty customer, you're just going to pay our everyday retail, and you're not going to belong to our clubs. This not only brings value to our customer, but it also has made our store more profitable. Offers and rewards program are heavily promoted with signage and our app, so I wanted to speak to that just a little bit. So our signage, before our customer ever pulls off the lot, our promotions are on our electronic media, they're on our pumps, our front doors, they're at our POS, they're at our fountain, they're in our restrooms, they're at our delis. So we have a consistent engagement with our customer that says, hey, if you're a loyalty member, here's what you're going to get at our store. And it is also on our app. So if you open our app, you see what promotions are there if you're a loyalty customer. That has been very instrumental. We also, for our employees, we do a shroud around the register monitor so that if they know exactly, they don't have to remember it, it's right there in front of them, and if a customer comes up and they have one Gatorade, and let's say that the promotion is buy 2 Gatorades and swipe your kickback card, you're going to receive $1, our employee can say, hey, if you're a loyalty customer and you go grab another Gatorade, you're going to save $1. Engagement. And then we also have it on our express lanes, which are self-checkouts, but we call them express lanes. We have it on those register monitors as well to help remind the customer. Pete's leverages our relationships with our loyalty provider to integrate our rewards program with new technologies. Again, it doesn't matter what technology or what we do, our loyalty provider has been really great, and so is our app provider at saying, I think we can do that. So we're getting ready to roll out a game within our app that we're hoping is going to really engage our customers, something new. We also last June, we rolled out a truck promotion, which is tiered, and it targeted our truck drivers. And if they are a loyalty member, depending on how many gallons that they purchase each month, and it's tiered, you can receive different points, you can receive cents off on your gallon, you can receive free showers. Our loyalty provider has helped us implement a tiered program. I will say that that did not roll out until June of 2021, so I didn't have any year-over-year numbers to share with you, but I am watching the activation triggers, and we are doing many activations. So I know that I expect positive numbers in June whenever we can go year over year. Lastly, I just want to again state that I think your best success is engagement through making it part of your culture. Bring your loyalty program along in everything that you do. And with that, I'll turn it back to Patrick.
The clicker. That's probably all I need.
The clicker. Yes.
Thank you. So when we began conversations in this panel, I was really excited because Brenda and Shelley have approached their engagement with their customers on 2 different spectrums. Right? So Shelley's approached it from punch cards and their stamp card program and gamification, and Brenda and the Pete's team from the traditional loyalty points-based system. But both, if you listen to both of them talk, they're both experimenting with how to migrate and add additional functionality. So Shelley bringing forth potentially the more traditional loyalty-based program to, or points-based program to augment the stamp and punch card system, and Brenda on the other side layering in gamification. And that test and learn concept is really important in customer engagement and loyalty, and being able to react and leverage that data, and most importantly, operationalize. This is probably not the sexiest topic in the world, but I do feel it's really important that we talk about the operationalization of data within the customer engagement lifecycle. And starting as to the why, and this has really taken off, obviously during COVID, there was many references to Kevin and his panel in the last presentation about it's the new norm, right? These aren't just changing, these aren't just COVID trends, these are the new norms. So Segment, a marketing technology firm in the space, did a survey in 2021 and showed that 60% of consumers say they will become a repeat buyer based on personalized offers and personalized engagement. The note here is actually not the number, it's the change. In 2017, that was 44%. So that number is increasing and becoming a more relevant part of the customer's buying decisions going forward. And the second metric, and this is one that may surprise some in the room, is that 70%, 7 out of 10 consumers say they appreciate personalization as long as it's data that they share directly with the retailer that is engaging with them. We've all had that experience where we feel the creepiness of social media and sharing data, interjecting into our buying decisions. But I found this number powerful because the consumers have obviously revealed that they're comfortable with sharing that data if they feel that the personalization and benefit to them is reciprocated. So I'm well aware as the technology guy that this leads to the next conversation, which is, all right, well, give me all the data. I want more data on my customers. What I want to talk about today is less about the acquiring more data and putting additional steps or friction within your account management flows or your registration flows. I want to hit on the data that many of the loyalty and engagement programs out there do have, and how you take advantage and really bring that data forth into adding value into your customer engagement, et cetera. So this is, some terminology here. It might get a little too technical, but I wanted to hit on this. Traditionally, in the loyalty space, we focused in what I would say is the bottom left-hand quadrant of analytics. And this has been really more performance-based analytics, descriptive, right? So the things that have measurement of the loyalty program, penetration rate, et cetera. It's been very informative to the performance in the past and guiding some of those strategic decisions on new features. We update new messaging, new campaigns, et cetera. But in the middle there is where we're starting to get today, which is really strategic insights. So using predictive analytics and leaning on whether it's internal teams or your vendor set or CPGs, as in one of the panelists that was on Monday, leaning on the predictive side of analytics to then inform some new features, some new offers, some new experiences that you want to bring to your consumers. And I would say that the nirvana, at least as of today, is the top right quadrant, which is automated insights. And the key here is we've taken advantage of performance analytics and strategic insights in what I would say is an out-of-band fashion as it relates to loyalty and customer engagement. And what I mean by that is we take data, it gets analyzed, and then a month later or 2 months later, we determine the decisions that we're going to make based on that data, and then we invoke change into the environment, right? A new campaign, a new experience, a new offer. The challenge going forward, and with other competitive retailers outside of the convenience and energy space, is they're reacting much more quickly. And it's not because they're better individually or as people, their operations are not better. It's because they're automating the insights into their customer engagement cycle, their offer creation, and their personalization. A prime example here, and I know Starbucks is a giant, right? I'm not saying we need to replicate Starbucks, but they did this through leveraging some of their vendors and their internal teams and strategizing how do they streamline their marketing operations and the execution of that. So they used an offer optimization platform, Formations, a publicized use case, and it automated the generation and distribution of personalized offers. And the numbers were pretty stark what came out on the other side. So 3 main metrics were boasted in this use case. So the first one is they sped up their marketing operations execution by 10x. So if it took them 30 days before to get out a campaign, it was taking them 3 days. And it was automating the insights directly into the messaging or the offer creation that was going directly to their consumers. They were taking the people out of the steps, the detailed steps, not the strategy, just the detailed steps for executing that. increase their revenue lift by 3 times. But I think the last stat is the most important. They are able, on average, and this has been since this was published in 2021, they're pushing out 15 million personalized one-to-one offers a week. And it's because humans aren't in the middle, right? They're using the automation and the insights along with the guardrails, and I'll talk about that in a minute, right? They set their objectives for their insights and analytics team, but then they're using the automation to then push this out directly to consumers. And back to the stat of 60% of consumers are appreciating that personalization, that link of 15 million is directly back to that 60% of consumers are liking that personalization. So what does this mean in practice, right? How are they doing this? This up here is what I would say is kind of the traditional flowchart of data within customer engagement lifecycle management, right? So you have your strategy on the left-hand side, your new features, your offers, your creations. In the middle, you have some data that comes out of it. You have your BI tools, and that leads to metrics and reporting. And that informs your strategy, definition, and updates, right? What are the types of offers? What are the types of messaging that I'm going to bring to customers? What Starbucks and others are doing, and this isn't just Starbucks, this is Domino's, this is GoPuff, this is the challengers to the convenience space. They have this top line, which is the automated and integrated output from their modeling of customer behavior. And the reason that's important is, again, it just takes out that cycle. They're automatically getting that back into their customer experience and reaching out and engaging with their consumers on a much more regular basis. An example of this, and we did some studies of different engagement cycles. And one of the things that stood out about Starbucks, Domino's, et cetera, was the frequency at which they were reaching out to their customers and how that engagement was differing between customer A and customer B. We actually created 2 different accounts in Starbucks, and we had to do 2 different things. We had one customer that was regular shopping, getting his grande coffee every 3 days, or 3 days a week, and then the other customer went dormant. We actually let them go into a dormant state and not perform any transactions. What was interesting, everyone here has probably experienced the Dash to the Star, right? The Stars program that Starbucks pushes out there. They were offering sweeter offers and deals to the dormant customer than they were to the one that performed transactions regularly 3 days a week. And that behavior changed almost instantaneously when the dormant customer made a transaction. The offers that were brought to that customer actually started to look like the regular customer again. So they were investing in the user resurrection, right, to bring that customer back into the engagement flow. And then after they were there, they went back to kind of their standard engagement cycle. So last bit, just some do's and don'ts, some best practices, and some things that we've seen not work as well. So one is really focus on the inputs and the desired outcomes. We'll talk about the process in a minute, but it's really important to clearly define the desired business outcomes of your customer engagement lifecycle and continuously review and update those key business questions. I go back to both of your use cases, right? One, Shelley, of you adding the points-based loyalty, and Brenda, you adding the gamification, right? You're redefining those key business questions and redefining how you need to go about engaging your customer. And then finally, I can't express this enough, this is definitely a passion of mine, is ensuring that the analytics trigger action. It's back into that automated insights and integrating it back into the decisions that you make, and not letting them sit on a shelf and age and become something that's not useful to your organization. Some don'ts, and these are from pain points of mine. Don't set it and forget it. This stuff changes continuously. You need to be able to update and monitor and enhance any models or insights that you develop. Challenge, whether it's internal or with your vendors, challenge the teams to continually take care of and care and feed the models that are there. Second one, it's another pet peeve. If you agree upon the process in the beginning, you agree upon inputs, you agree upon the process of providing analytics and the outputs, don't challenge the process. Challenge the inputs or challenge the outputs, or the outcomes that come out of that. The process, what we've seen in folks that have gone down this route is that it's the last bit. They ignore the outputs they don't like, right? So they've defined their business outcomes and they've agreed to the process, and then the outcomes come out and it doesn't look good, right? It wasn't a good story for their program performance. The more that we're realistic with the outcomes that come out of the process and say, yes, okay, and it's not great, but we can make these changes to improve, you'll see exponential improvement based on operationalizing the data. All right, so we're going to get into some questions here. I'll ask a couple just to get us started, but if anybody in the audience has any questions, definitely just raise your hand, look at me, throw something at me, doesn't matter. So I'll start with you, Shelley. So in your presentation, you talk about making loyalty processes easy for the customer. How did you go about defining what was easy to the customer as you were going through the launch of your app to the market?
Well, first off, we wanted to make sure that we picked business partners that gave that the platform that the customer was using was very easy to navigate. I mean, you saw on my slides there was banners, and you literally, as a customer, you click on it and it'll take you to the game. You click on it and it'll take you to your stamp cards. You can click on it and it'll take you to the tobacco offers. And so it's really easy for them to navigate through. And then again, all they have to do is scan their phone and it links everything. They're not having to pull up a punch card and redeem a punch card. They're not having to pull up the winning coupon or the consolation coupon and redeem each of those separately. It's all linked to that QR code. And so it's very easy for them to both receive awards as well as utilize and cash them in at the store.
Did you look at any other outside app experiences, loyalty experiences? I mean, I always joke, if you look at the Shell launched a new app probably a couple of years ago, and it's actually almost a direct overlay of the Starbucks app if you put them together. So did you look at any of the app experiences that were out there to inform some of the decisions that you made within your app design?
We did. Obviously, we downloaded a lot of competitive apps as well as apps that are not related to convenience. And rather than looking at what we liked, I mean, obviously we did that. We had what we like about each app's takeaway. What our biggest takeaway is what we didn't like. And then we really used that. And again, that's what kind of led to those 5 metrics. Obviously, we wanted it to be easy for the customer, but we also wanted it to be easy for the store associates, because getting the store associates engaged, we want them to push it, and that frictionless scan in was very important to us, because they're not going to get behind something that's a hassle for them, and then obviously making sure that it was easy for our customers. And so we really looked at what some of the competitive offers, whether that, like I said, we looked at convenience stores, but we also looked outside of convenience stores and said, okay, when you have to click on each different piece to redeem it, that's not an interest that we were in.
Sounds good. I think it's an interesting approach. Doesn't always have to be positive. Sometimes it could be negative and things to avoid.
Right.
Yeah. So Brenda, in your presentation about, and you talked a lot about culture and bringing this into your organization. I think one of the things you hit on a bit, and if you could hit on a little bit more, is just how do you keep consistent the offers and the programs that you're bringing forth within your loyalty program into the physical store site signage, et cetera, that you talked about putting across the store? How do you ensure consistency all the way throughout the offer life cycle and the engagement life cycle there, so that there's no customer confusion and it's very clear what they're getting when they go into the store, whether it's through the app or not?
So I think our consistency comes from, we make the decisions early, and we have control over both what's loaded into our apps. So our IT developer or our IT director puts that out on the app so that it matches our promotions. As far as signage, we have our own printers. We can formulate that. We actually put it into kind of a 6-prong signage. It has just different things on there, so that it's just not one targeted promotion at different. So you get a promotion targeted on our EMCs, and then you get one targeted on our pump. the signage incorporates all of our promotions into one sign. And then everyone in the store has been told, I talked about path stones. So one of the stones to get to where we wanted to get to was that here are where the signs go. We supplied the either if it's a static cling or if it's one of the plexiglass that pops on the door and then you insert the sign. They know exactly how the shrouds go around the registers. So our consistency comes from, we've laid that plan out, we've let our loyalty partner know, we've let our app partner know, and then all of our employees, and then we do it in advance so that on day one we're ready to execute. And if we do change from that consistent how we go to market, then we just don't do it every day. I think I said this morning, we live by, you don't change your tennis shoes on the day of the game. You don't put on new tennis shoes when you're getting ready to go play the game. You take a little bit of time. So if we do change the way that we're going to go to market, then we roll that out to our leadership team, and we just follow that best practice of, here's what we're going to do differently, and here's where it's going to affect you, and what you need to understand now we're going to do different.
Sounds good. I think that last comment was in reference to, I approached them this morning if there was anything that they needed to adjust in the final presentation, and I was rightfully put in my place by Brenda. I'm going to steal that quote going forward. And so you both, I know this is new functionality for both programs, but you're bringing forth some efforts to target specific offers to various customer segments. Can you, I don't care who goes first, but can you both talk to who or how you're approaching targeted offers, segmentations, and how you think about that within your overall offer and program? And maybe, Brenda, you can start in with the pro driver side. So,
again, we wanted to target our truck drivers, and so we rolled out it's called the Pro Drivers Club, but it's based on how many gallons they purchase, and it's tiered, so 500, 1,000, 1,500, over 2,000, just the different tiers and what they get for that. And it brought loyalty value to our truck drivers, but then it also reminded them, hey, I'm going to hit Pete's because I'm going to continue to grow my gallons, because it's not, one month they may hit one tier, but the next month they may hit a different tier. And I want to touch on, too, something that we did to segment. Like, we played with the 4th of July, so 7-4, and then the year. And we did like 74-cent Mountain Dews if you were a loyalty customer. So we were trying to target, just do fun things and target the 20-ounce customer. We did 12 Days of Christmas, and on the signage it had, there was one day that we gave away fruit shoots all day long if you come in. Then we had, if you bought 3 Gatorades, you would get 10 cents off per gallon up to 20 gallons. So really just kind of targeting, so we were targeting children there, we were also targeting their mom and dads that's needing the fuel. So that's kind of how we went to market.
Sounds good. All right, I haven't looked out to the crowd yet. Are there any questions from the group? Mr. Steve?
Yeah, I've got one for you. I like the idea of not challenging the process, but really focusing on the inputs and target outcomes. What can you do to prevent, how do you make that happen? How do you get the process right so that you're not cherry-picking the answers that you like and disregarding the ones you don't?
Yeah, it's a really key question, and there's some pain points and some experience I've had in this space. So what I have felt, and I'm not saying we've approached it the right way every time, so we're testing and learning. I would say important is to have separate discussions on the outcomes and the review of the outcomes, and occasionally you do have to update the process, but they should be very separated. So as you're reviewing outcomes from your analytics team or from your vendor's analytics team, take the outcomes for what they are, because you agreed upon a process and you need to take that forward. Separately, if you feel over time that the process has some faults or is failing, you can update that, but separate the two. Don't use the outcomes that you didn't like as a justification for changing the process. That's really where you get into we get into a sticky area, because you could be updating a process, not listening to statistics or analytics or math or whatever, just to satisfy an outcome that you want to see. But I'm not saying, everybody's gonna get the process right up front. Just separate the two and have reviews of the process separate of reviews of outcomes, analytics, metrics, reporting, et cetera.
And I'll piggyback onto that if I may. From the retailer standpoint, I mean, we partnered with Liquid Barcodes as the face of our company, and then Rovertown, the back end of our app. And they've done this a million times, both of them. They work together, they have processes in place, and I would say the number one takeaway for me as far as that whole process piece is trust your partners. Lean on your partners. They have the support system to help you. They've done this so many times, and for us, this was our first app. We were complete rookies, and both of those companies have stepped up, and I've called them at ridiculous hours, and they have walked me through things and helped me, and really been a support system. So I think sometimes you don't have to, we all think we have to own the process, come up with the process, and be the lead in that process. And really it's a partnership with the people that you utilize in your app.
I like your guys' take on the evolution of loyalty programs. Loyalty programs are always improving and changing. Specifically, now that you guys both have mobile apps, like the digital registration piece, where it's not like you just have to grab a physical card and register the physical card. Can you guys talk a little bit about, I know both of your apps have the ability to do digital registration. What's your opinion on that as loyalty programs evolve?
Do you want to go or I can go? Oh, for us, it's been ease. It's been a lot of ease. We didn't have a loyalty platform before. We had a punch card offer. And so we had customers that were, they would have a coffee punch card, a fountain punch card, and then it was, hey, can you combine these punch cards? And then we would have little, what I would call recipe boxes in the stores where people would keep their punch cards so they didn't have to keep them in their wallet. And it was just very antiquated and very dated and very manual. And who's to say your buddy comes in and you don't give them 6 punch cards and hey, there was really no controls, there was no way to know, and we would try to get CPG funding to cover the free coffee, and the stores would then have to collect all of those punch cards, send them into the main office in Boise, and then we'd have to send it to the coffee company, figure out how many pots of coffee that equated to. It was just all very manual, and so I don't know if I'm really answering your question or not, but
You guys don't have a physical card, right?
we do not.
So if you could kind of speak to that, because there's a big debate, do I have a physical card, do I do digital registration through the app, and what's your opinion on that? I know Brenda does both. They have the physical kickback cards and they do the digital registration on the app.
Yeah, I think for us, we didn't want to do a physical card because we didn't have one in place and we were rolling out the app. It was a way to get away from those physical punch cards.
So I think having both of them, and we use both of them, we continue to use both of them. I myself love the fact that it's inside of our app. It helped us bring along as you know, you've got some who never want to give up their card, and if you're a frequent user, you get what's called a platinum card. And my husband has a platinum card, and he's quite proud of that card. And then other people I know are quite proud of that card. So they love their card. I couldn't browbeat my husband into getting an app. So there's definitely the use for that, and there's a place for that. But then for those who have it inside the app, which I do, I love it. And it gave us the ability to be able to easily get people to put in that loyalty code and be able to take advantage of our full loyalty offering at any time. And again, like I said, whether you're scanning in our store with your phone or you're ordering food, it doesn't matter. We've brought our loyalty program along. And it's been a great, the two, our app and our loyalty provider together, having it inside of the app, is just wonderful. I really think it has helped catapult us up into now our loyalty members. They want the scan, the app, and our app users are going, hey, wait a minute, I don't have the loyalty card. And so it's helped us in both platforms, and so I think it's great.
I have one more, but I'll defer. We have time for about one more question if there's anything from the group. Otherwise, I'm going to steal it.
Looks like you want to steal it.
I kind of want to steal it. We talked a little bit at the end when we were prepping for this about what is exciting about your programs going forward. What do you do, Brenda? You have a pretty long-standing loyalty program, right? 10 years in the space, which is definitely one of the longer-standing loyalty programs. What gets you all excited about your customer engagement and loyalty strategies in the future, and how do you keep that kind of fresh and innovative for your customers? Maybe Shelley first.
For me, what gets me excited is just knowing that we are taking our customer offering and we're taking it to the next generation, the next level, the next consumer group that's coming up through the ages. I mean, I'm a mom, I have a daughter. She's way more tech savvy than I could ever imagine being, and we're putting ourselves in a position where we're really attracting that next level of consumer. And I'm a data nerd. I like to look at all the numbers and things like that, and to know that we're able to eventually, obviously we're very new in the app, but take that information, create those really targeted offers, and deliver to our customers exactly what they want. So it's exciting to me.
I think looking on the horizon, whatever's coming down the pike technology-wise, I get really excited about that and trying to pay attention to it, and just thinking about ways to bring our loyalty along, because we've got a great base, and just bring them more value, and then also what we can do within our app, and just having a strong integration. So I'm really excited about where we're at and what we're doing, and I think those are the things that really gets me excited. And then also because we have reports that I know exactly which triggers are performing well. So I like to pull those reports out and say, hey, we did really good with this particular promotion. How can I build on it? What can I do differently? If one failed, why did it fail? Just to be creative, sometimes you can raise your retail and throw points at it that gets it back down to where it was, and you'd be amazed at just how many of your customers that might not be a loyalty customer right now says, wow, I'm going to pick up that card. So there's just so many different ways that you can interact with your customer. And to go to your point, if you pay attention to the data that you're getting, it's really exciting. And then you just kind of play with that and tweak it and run with it. And then technology, it's great.
Great. Well, thank you to both of you for sharing, and thanks to the audience. We will conclude here.